and welcome everyone. My name is Erin, and on this channel we like to talk about writing, learning, and creating. If you are brand new, welcome you. If you are old hat, welcome back. Today we are going to be covering a topic that is super important no matter what field of writing you are in, which is why it is important to know why you are doing what you are doing. More on that in a second, but first, let's talk about Thankmas again real quick. We are winding down the clock as far as how much time is left to participate in Thankmas. So if you would like to participate by donating to Red Nose Day to raise money for food for children who are in need at the end of this year, now is your time. Get in on it. Link is in the description. Thank you so much to everybody who has donated so far. I can't say enough how awesome you are and how blessed I feel to have you here visiting me on this channel. And let's get into the video. On the previous days of Thankmas videos that we have been doing, we've been talking a lot about the different disciplines of writing, how to maneuver between those disciplines, how to use things from those different fields if it's not the field that you are in, how to make connections to the right areas that you need to be in. And today we have one last very important topic to talk about to wrap up this Thankmas series, which is that you need to know why you are doing what you are doing. It seems like a pretty basic concept, but as you start on your journey, you can see pretty quickly how it would get muddled. So let's talk about why it's important, some things you might need to look out for, and ways that you can help yourself to stay true to who you are as a writer. The first thing that you need to do is take some time to come up with a purposeful vision for yourself as a writer. A lot of people pre-publishing stance concerned have like this weird limbo that they're kind of in, and I feel it too, where you still kind of don't believe that you're ever gonna actually get your work out there, but you're gonna work your butt off like as if it's already done. So because of that, it can be really hard to know who you are as a writer, what your mission is. So that is why it is important to craft for yourself a mission statement. What is your plan for publishing your books? Why are you publishing your books? Is it because you're hoping that your books will somehow help people in a specific area? Is it because you have a specific story that you feel really needs to be told, that you need to get out there? Are you being representative of a group that you are in that is marginalized and you're trying to shine light on this group? You need to come up with your reason for why you are doing this. And there are so many reasons for it. One, it helps you figure out what publishing route you should take. Two, it helps you know if you are writing a book that it's actually in line with that vision or not. Three, it helps you to have a target that you are pointing towards, and as things start to go crazy or a little bit weird, you are able to recenter yourself towards that vision, towards that goal. If you don't have a mission crafted for yourself, something else will come along and craft one for you, whether it is a publishing house that has a very specific vision that they want you to adapt to, agents who are like, but your book would sell better if you change this one thing that you thought you would never do, or if it is some sort of trend that you're trying to hop on because this is what's really getting published right now, so let me just do it because it will probably get my book out there. None of those are good reasons to make big changes to your story. None of those are good reasons to publish a book at all. So you need to have a solid grip on why you are doing what you are doing. For me, my personal mission is to help people with my stories, and as vague as that sounds, it is coming from a place where my books usually start because I'm in a really hard place and I'm really struggling in a certain area, and somehow that book is helping me to tackle with those questions and with those problems and those hurts that might be going on in my life. And so my goal with getting my books published is that my books will do the same thing for other people that they did for me, which is dragging me out of whatever dark hole I was in. So that is my mission as a writer, to help people with my writing. So if I'm writing a story and I'm doing something that would tear people down instead of lift them up, that is not something that I will actually be considering publishing. That's not something that I want to put out there. And that doesn't mean that stories have to be sunshines and rainbows all the time. It doesn't mean that there has to be a lot of positivity or toxic positivity in them. It just means that you get to a solution in the end that is beneficial for the reader as well as the characters as well as the author. The next thing you need to decide now before you actually start interacting with them is how you want to interact with both your audience and with any publishing platform that you may be involved with. On the audience side, once again, having that mission guiding why you are providing your book as a resource to your readers is so important. You need to know why you're bringing it to your audience so that you can then also know how to relate to your audience. When you're speaking with your audience, you need to have that in mind so that you are having conversations around those reasons and making connections with people based off of their humanity and how they are connecting with what your mission is. For the publishing side of things, because of the fact that there are so many different options that you can go with for publishing and so many different agents that you could end up with, or publishing houses or independent publishing platforms of various kinds, you need to know what you are willing to say yes to and what you are willing to say no to. What are things that would compromise your vision that you need to say no to even if the deal looks really good? And what do you need to say yes to because it's not a hill to die on? So there are certain things in a book, such as formatting, and maybe the scene doesn't fit, but you are in love with the scene and you need to get rid of it, that are perfectly easy to say yes to, even if it's a little bit painful because you really love that scene. But it's something you can say yes to without compromising your vision, what your purpose is for writing in that book. However, there are going to be things that you need to say no to. I can't guarantee what those things are going to be because I don't know what your personal vision or mission is, so I'm just going to talk about mine and things that I would end up saying no to, even if someone offered me a ton of money for my books. One of those things that I would say no to is removing what I would call key themes for my books that may not be popular depending on the current culture. Because our culture is shifting a lot, especially recently, there are certain things in my books that I know are not going to be necessarily welcomed with open arms. And it's not even stuff that's really actually bad. It's things like, I don't know how people will receive any themes that are related to faith, having faith, religious beliefs, and things like that. And that is something that shows up in a lot of my books. Not that I'm pushing my particular beliefs, but because I've wrestled with beliefs, I bring those wrestlings into my stories. And right now it is far more acceptable in the culture that I'm seeing around me to not mention matters of faith at all and pretend that no one anywhere has any kind of faith. That is far more acceptable than actually having discussions around faith and looking at different viewpoints. So if someone were to tell me I had to remove all elements of faith from my book, not that I think that someone would actually do that, but if they did, I would have to say no to that, because once again, my goal is to help people who are struggling with things that I was struggling with. So if I have that in there because I was wrestling with that area of faith for some reason, then my goal is to help someone who also was struggling in that area. And if I remove that, then I am contradicting my mission, my vision as a writer. So that's why I would say no, not because I'm trying to be subversive or anything like that. I'm not trying to hurt people, and if I was doing something that would be detrimental towards people instead of helpful, I would be trying to change that. But there are certain things that if I were to remove, it would actually compromise my vision. So that's just like one of those big hot button ones that I could think of that may or may not come up. So if there's something you have to say no to because it would compromise your vision in some way as a writer, just politely decline. Don't get angry about it. Just, that was not the place for you to be. Even if it was a good deal, even if it's a good big name company that you can work with, it's not for you because it's not for your vision, and you need to have that vision focused. That way you can know if it is a deal that's not for you or your vision. and so that you can stick to it and be consistent with who you are as an author, as a person. At the end of the day, the vision that you have for yourself as an author and for your books or your video game or your whatever, it's yours. And you need to stick by it because of the fact that you are sticking by yourself when you stick by your vision. That does not mean that your vision can't grow or change over the years, but that you need to have that focusing point to keep going back to so that you can stay grounded. Because things will go crazy at some point in some sort of way, and you don't know what that's gonna look like. It could just be something like, I don't know, this entire year, or it could be something completely different. It could be someone trying to compromise your morals. It could be you compromising your morals. It could be how people change sometimes when they finally get fame and recognition for their skills and their work. Whatever it is, having that focus point will keep you being the person who you want to be, both for yourself, for your audience, and for your vision for your projects. So at the end of the day, it's between you, yourself, and you. There's not enough other ways to say that, but it's you. So stick by yourself. Keep the promises you make to yourself. Don't compromise in places where you don't need to compromise, but compromise in places where it's beneficial and still maintains your vision. And that's also what led me to want to partner with Thankmas, with Red Nose Day, because my vision as a writer is to help people. So being able to help people is kind of a little bit everything to me. So that is why this channel partnered with Thankmas, and why I am so happy and proud of our little family here who is doing our part to help in this area. Because it's so easy to think of ourselves as just one person having just one voice and feeling like it doesn't even make a drop in the bucket, but every single person counts. Every single person matters, and every single act of kindness has positive repercussions on lives that you don't even get to meet. So last time I'm going to be plugging it in a video because our Thankmas time is almost over, sadly, but the links are in the description if you want to participate in Thankmas, if you want to donate to Red Nose Day. And tomorrow is our first ever live stream to celebrate and wrap up this time that we've had with Thankmas, and I certainly hope that I can see you there, especially because we're still a growing family and it's so good to get more opportunities to interact with you all. I can't say enough how much it means to me. So that's it for me today. Have a great one. Until the next one.